Alright, let's dive into something that's been on my radar lately: Hong Kong's resurgence as a wealth hub, and the fascinating strategies firms like Lombard Odier are using to navigate this shift. But here's the kicker: it's not just about money anymore. It's about stability, succession, and the long game. And personally, I think this is where things get really interesting. First off, let's talk about the hook. Hong Kong is back. After years of uncertainty, the city's economy is roaring with over 3% GDP growth in the first half of 2026. But what's truly fascinating is the shift in mindset. Alfred, Lombard Odier's CEO for Hong Kong, points out that clients are no longer just chasing the next big opportunity. Instead, they're asking, how do I preserve what I've built and pass it on? This isn't just a trend. It's a fundamental reordering of priorities. And in my opinion, it reflects a broader global shift toward long-term thinking in an increasingly volatile world. Now, Lombard Odier's approach here is what makes this story stand out. With 230 years of history and zero external debt, they're positioning themselves as the ultimate safe haven. Think about that: no external debt. In a world where financial crises feel almost cyclical, that's like having a vault built to withstand an earthquake. Lowe even compares it to Japanese sashimono joinery, where structures flex instead of snapping. What this really suggests is that stability isn't just a selling point, it's a philosophy. And in a time when geopolitical tensions are reshaping the global order, that philosophy feels more relevant than ever. But here's where it gets even more intriguing: succession. Louisa, the firm's head of wealth planning for Asia, highlights a massive paradox. Families want to preserve wealth, but most don't have a solid succession plan. Only about a quarter of high-net-worth families have one in place. Why? Communication is the hardest part. Parents struggle to talk about it, and the next generation often doesn't fully understand the complexities, like global inheritance tax rules. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a logistical issue. It's emotional, cultural, and deeply personal. And if you take a step back and think about it, this gap between intention and action is where the real work lies. Lombard Odier's response to this is twofold. First, they're focusing on family governance and cross-border networking. They're connecting heirs from different regions, broadening their perspectives, and helping them build relationships. Second, they're pushing discretionary portfolio management. With shorter market cycles, families are more willing to delegate, and this trend is accelerating. From my perspective, this isn't just about managing money, it's about managing legacies. And that's a much bigger, more complex challenge. What makes this really interesting is how Lombard Odier's ownership structure ties into all of this. They're privately owned by 6 managing partners, whose own family wealth is tied up in the firm. This alignment of interests is rare in the industry, and it allows them to think in decades, not quarters. Lowe even shares a story from 1851, when the firm advised clients to invest in an emerging market, the United States. That long-term lens is what sets them apart. But it also raises a deeper question. In a world obsessed with short-term gains, is this kind of patience still possible? Finally, let's talk about China. Lombard Odier is bullish, particularly on sectors like solar, electric vehicles, and AI. But they're also contrarian on interest rates, betting against the consensus that the Fed will tighten. This isn't just a market call. It's a reflection of their scenario-based approach to risk. And in my opinion, this is where their 230 years of experience really shine. They're not just reacting to the present, they're preparing for every possible future. So here's my closing thought. What Hong Kong's revival and Lombard Odier's strategy show us is that wealth isn't just about accumulation. It's about preservation, succession, and stability. And in a world that feels more uncertain by the day, those are the principles that matter most. What do you think? Is this the future of wealth management, or just a niche approach? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take.